Hi again. My name is Rebel and I'm the Rebel Reseller. We're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to do my what solds for July 15th through the 17th. But I'm also going to be packing it as we go. And we'll try to see how this works, how long the video ends up being. But I think it's going to help a lot of people who are scared of the shipping on eBay to just maybe understand my thinking process when I'm packaging stuff, why I do what I do, and maybe you'll feel a little bit more confident yourself. So I'm gonna pull stuff. It's in random order, so it won't be like I normally do. And then we'll try to remember to, well, we will put the actual sold video up on the screen as the video when we edit it, so that you'll see what sold, what it sold for, which I'll talk about it like I normally do. And then I'll show you how I'm packing it. And I've got a large variety of stuff to get packed. And then, of course, Robert, the Peanut Gallery, as he's fondly called, is over here. And he's going to be doing some breakables for me. And he'll show them to, I'll show you what needs packed. And then he'll show you how he packs it before we box it. Just so that, you know, you see how we do it. And of course, everybody's going to do it differently. But, you know, I've had so many comments asking for more shipping videos. I think it's the one thing that sellers get scared of. And it's really not that bad.
And I can pack something and it's going to get there without breaking. I mean, unless they run over it with a truck.
Which
but
could happen.
Did I burn up $5 worth of unnecessary profit in doing so? And that's what you have to watch out for. You need to pack it so it gets there, but you don't want to pack it so well that you're unnecessarily wasting money, making it I don't know, safer than it needs to be, because it would have gotten there for $3 or $4 less in packing
supplies. And we don't use peanuts. We use mostly either cardboard when it needs extra, you know, protection, like for records and magazines and stuff like that, and just a lot of bubble wrap, just a lot.
Air pillows.
And air pillows.
We'll put a link for the air pillows in the...
We love the air pillows. It's just, they're not expensive and they're a good space filler.
And this first time around, this might be a total fiasco on how this video comes out. So make sure, leave a comment, let us know, you know, like, what would work, what you all would prefer to see in this kind of video, because we've picked a way to do it and it just might not be the best. And
right.
So let us know how we could make this video better. And don't forget to mash that like and subscribe button at the bottom.
Like and subscribe, please. Like and subscribe. I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to show you one thing that I need Robert to pack. And then he'll show me, he'll keep bringing it back to me. I hate shipping breakables. But this is a little, like a trinket box, vintage. It's shaped like a grand piano. He'll have something up here on it. The buyer has sent me messages wanting it to be shipped cheaper, and I've already sent her one message back that said, you know, we do a whole lot of packing, it may not fit in a flat rate box, which, come to find out, the flat rate box isn't much difference. In fact, using my shipping, that, you know, my discounted shipping that eBay gives me, priority is actually going to be the cheapest. I'm going to send her a couple of dollars back, just because I do get that discount. But I wouldn't try to get it in a smaller box just because your buyer wants you to. You need to pack stuff. And, you know, this is porcelain, so it needs, and it's 2 pieces, it needs extra packaging. So we're going to end up probably still putting it in a large priority box. Probably. And
either
then,
that or a cut down shoebox, but I don't know that that's going to work.
Yeah, I don't think I like a cut down shoebox. The shoe boxes are good for like plush, and if this is thick enough where I would be concerned, if even with lots of packaging, that box just isn't sturdy enough. So we'll either use our own packaging or we'll use a priority box. So I'm going to hand this to him. Now, I'm sure we picked this up at an estate sale and probably only paid $1 or $2 for it. We don't pay a whole lot of, these are just kind of things we're learning about. So we buy stuff like this just to learn about it.
A lot of times on half price day.
Yeah, on half price day. But it sold for $18.95. So, you know, I'm going to take the time to pack it carefully. Well, Robert is. But, you know, it's going to get there safely. So, a medium flat rate box was going to be more expensive than a regular priority box when I looked at the breakdown when I clicked on print packaging or print label. I'm going to pick the first plush because it's large and it's on top. This was a Chuck E. Cheese plush that I picked up. He's 28 inches. He sold for $27.55. I'm pretty sure I picked this up probably a yard sale or an estate sale. It wasn't at the bins. Probably no more than like $2 for it. Maybe $3, but I don't think so. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up here. I don't ship these large plush in a poly bag. I just don't. You know, he's got a hard nose. Just, I don't. So I account for a large priority box. Which is here. Oh, I haven't finished putting boxes away either. Just a reminder, get your priority stuff ordered for fourth quarter now, because last year there was a fiasco. It was the priority flat rate padded envelopes that nobody could get them. So just get your stuff ordered now. I'm gonna get ready to do a whole bunch of boxes, poly bags, everything. But again, if you notice, this isn't a large poly bag. Everything gets stored in bags here. Once it's clean, I don't want to deal with it again. I'm sure Robert will be speeding up stuff to make this video not so long. I've got my priority box. I'm going to smooch a little bit of air out of it.
Just wish I could speed up your nagging on a day-to-day basis.
All right. I don't have a whole lot of work space. I need to figure something out because I spend a whole lot of time balancing boxes and right here is my picture taking area, and then over here is printers and another laptop that we use for my live, and then a whole bunch of junk just kind of like back here. It just kind of gets piled up waiting for me to decide what I'm going to do with it. All right, and then just weigh it. All right, everything's good. Print out the label. I do use a Rollo 4x6 printer. Next thing is a clothing item. When I go out there to my building to pull stuff, I just go down the list. So now the oldest, the stuff that was purchased beginning of the week is now...
Weekend?
Yeah, the weekend is now on top. Well, I think this might be Poshmark. Let me go check my labels. Poshmark's still pitiful for me. Yes. So this is Poshmark. Everything is priority for Poshmark. So I just normally put it in one of these bubble mailers. All right, on Poshmark, this sold for $12. It's a Wrangler Rancher men's button-up shirt. Bubble mailer, flat rate. As long as it's less than 5 pounds, you don't have to worry about anything. This is Robert's thing he's working on. He has put 2 layers of bubble wrap between the piano base and the lid.
Small bubble wrap.
Small bubble wrap. And then, because it has fragile legs, you can't really see it through here, but there's legs like a piano would have. He's got folded up bubble wrap that he's going to stick in between just for the added protection. And then he's going to wrap and wrap and wrap this to make sure that it is very safe. Back to my Poshmark order. I've printed the label. I have it packed now in a padded flat rate envelope. I use these a lot when mailing the clothes on Poshmark. They're just simple and the added protection. And then I just print out my label and it's good to go. Now this I've had people ask about this, and also I've seen it on other Facebook pages. This order was through Shop Airlines. Every once in a while I see posts about Shop Airlines. Is it safe? They are a company, a freight forwarding company. I have sold tons of stuff through them. You'll always get a message after you get the order that says, could you please make sure that you put the item number on the packaging so that they can sort it more easily. I know I've read where people said they've looked them up and there's all kinds of issues. I have never had an issue with them. So this is an Elsie cow. I picked, this was part of our online estate sale that we picked up through High Bid last year, and Elsie sold for $11.91. She is vintage. Well, no, she's from 2004. I think I would just feel more confident with her because she's got this little cute like felt necklace around her that I put her in a small box, which I order tons of boxes for this very reason. So this is a 4x6x6, and I'm just going to, plus I know it's going overseas. I don't know if they repack them or not. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Always make sure when you pack something that it doesn't move. Plush, you know, you have a little grace with that. But anything else, there should be no movement in your box. These labels do not fit on these boxes. So what I do is, you know, make sure you don't have the barcode anywhere near the edge. All right. Tie. This is a tie cat. It did have its its paper tag. Let's see. I'm having to sort through a bunch of orders. Here we go. It sold for $20. So it's just one of the larger plush. It was from 2002. It was called Sugar. That's not bad at all. Again, probably picked up at the Goodwill bins, so I don't have very much in it. All right, I have it set for 15 ounces first class. A 12 by 6 by 6. Because of the ear tag, I'm not going to run the risk. It might be that important to somebody that the tag be as mint as it looked like in my pictures. I like these. I use my coupon every time to buy this size box. It's perfect for these larger plush. I don't know what that's. Look, it's got a tab hanging off of it. And I do not include packing slips in my stuff. Box. Lots of plush. Lots of plush. This is an angel bear. It says from Pacifics. Probably the Goodwill bins. So not very much into it. It sold for $13.75. This was 12 ounces. I'm actually checking it over. It's got like this little, it's cloth, but like a foil thing or thing on its head, halo. I'm going to probably go ahead and put this in a bubble mailer. I just would be more confident with it. And I used to store everything in these types of bags before I changed to the self-sealing ones. So I do keep these bags just in case I have really large stuff or multi-quantity things that I want to store temporarily in these. You know, waste not, want not, right? So I did buy bags from Sam's Club. I mean, I could put it in a clear bag, but I just go ahead and put it in a new clean bag and stick it in the bubble. So I say that a lot. I think it's my I think. All right.
One of these days I'm gonna cut out, because I cut out her filler words a lot in videos. So I'm gonna take those little snips, I'm gonna add them up, and I'm gonna play them all at the end of the video.
At the end of a video, that would be funny, but it's just me. Robert's getting ready to start teaching again with this new school year. So we're going to have to start, if we're going to keep doing this, we're going to have to record these on Sunday evening because he's at school all day Monday. I don't want to do all this by myself. Alright. Alright, so here's Robert's box.
I've got a genetic defect, and it came from my father, and that we don't build things unless it's overdone, so I tend to overpack.
Which is
but
fine.
There's a cost with it, because each of the ear pillows in there is about 5.5 cents. I think the last time I looked, I need to look at the bubbles again. The bubble wrap, I can't remember what they cost, but there's a cost to it. But the air pillows, for their volume, were like significantly cheaper than bubble wrap when I looked, a year or so ago. So I prefer to use them over the bubble wrap, but the air pillows will also pop easier, and they just don't provide the close-in protection that you need. So you have to take all that into consideration when you're packing this. We're not having good luck getting refunds from the post office for broken items. They're denying a lot of them. And even if they do give it back, you got to argue and fight with them, and that's time out of your life when you could be processing or listing or doing something else useful with your time. So
well, and they're also requiring a lot of my last two was going to require that the buyer bring the package to their post office. And, we might be lucky and they'll do that for us, or they might not because they're already angry that for some reason their item was damaged. But we pack really well. And, I see on Facebook all the time the packages that people are receiving and just the damage to the boxes.
And it's an unhappy customer experience, and it's just, I would rather overpack it a little bit. I could have packed this thing smaller and put it in a smaller box. The shoe box wouldn't have worked well for the thickness of the package. So I could have used fewer air pillows, but then I would have had to have paid for a box. And this way we're using a free priority box, but in doing so we're using more air pillows, which is costing more, but I think it's going to be it's going to wash out to nothing in the end, or a little bit of a savings by using a free box over the extra padding. On these, I tend to, the air pillows we use, you can lay 8 of the air pillows on the bottom, and it completely covers the bottom of the box, and then 8 on top, and it gives it a lot of top and bottom protection. And sometimes, depending on the size of the object, there might be nothing around the outside of it, or I might put more around the outside edges of the box to protect it, just depending on how big the item is.
I do not use fragile stickers on my items, and definitely don't use that one that says special handling, because they will charge you an upcharge on that. But I've just heard horror stories of how packages could be treated because they have that fragile sticker on there. I'm going to hand Robert the next breakable. This is a Shell coffee mug. I'm pretty sure we paid $1/4 for this at an estate sale. We buy a lot of coffee mugs. I couldn't find one similar to it, so I have a tendency just to kind of throw a price on there and see what happens. This did sell for $22.95. But we go to estate sales and there's hundreds of coffee mugs. I'm lucky if I have 2 or 3 that we use in my house. Period. Right here's my coffee. So, yeah. So, $22.95. So, definitely advertising. Always look for them. Again, show the handy dandy.
Yeah.
All right, again, with the pillows, we always put them right here around the handle, and it gives just complete protection for that. And then he's going to wrap it
Put 2 layers.
with 2 layers of bubble wrap, and then it's going to fit in a priority box. This is Prestige Toys. It's a crib plush with the pull string. Probably yard sale find, $1 or less is almost always what I pay at yard sales. It sold for $17. Because it has the music box inside of it, it's going to go in a box. Not even a bubble miller. 8 by 6 by 4. Would it make it there safely? Maybe. In a bubble? In a poly? I just like the added protection. Because it's filling up most of the box, I do have those stickers right there. I'll show you in a second. I put it on these, if it's in a box, that when they cut it, it might cut the plush. Then I have these. Do not open with a sharp object. I just put it on there like this, and then the label will go next to it. And I account, when I'm doing my listings, this thing probably weighed 8 ounces or so because of the music box. I account for the weight of this box. And then I do flat rate shipping for anything under a pound. If it's 0 to 4 ounces and I don't need to put it in a box, then I charge $4.50. If it's 0 to 4 ounces and I need to use a box, like my 4x4s or whatever, then I charge $4.75. 4 to 8 ounces, which includes the packaging, and I kind of have an idea, like these 4x6s, I don't even think they weigh 2 ounces. Right, they're 1.8 ounces. So I just keep that in mind when I know I'm going to ship something. A large priority box is 12 ounces. So if I know I'm going to ship it that way, then that's what I'm going to do. For this one, you know, I knew to add so many ounces, and that is how I charge it. If it's, I did 4 to 8 is $4.75. 9 to 12 is $5.75. And 13 to 16 is $6.75. That way it helps pay for a lot of the packing products that I do buy. I buy a ton of packaging. So I'm going to go ahead and get this label for that. Alright, and then this is the cup after Robert's got it packed. Every side has at least 2 bubbles on the side. I know I talked about this before in some of my other videos. I buy the good tape from Walmart, and it's very expensive, but it doesn't always stick. It doesn't matter the quality of the tape sometimes. It just doesn't always stay attached to the box. So we always make sure that when we're doing our packages that you overlap where the tape is, and that just seems to help it stay adhered to the box. All right, these are some Gap denim stretch jeans, but they're boy size slim, 14. They sold for $10. We very seldom pay we pay about $1 or less for jeans. I mean, sometimes we show up and they want a quarter for their jeans. It's just, but it's Gap. You feel like they're probably going to be first class. Nope, priority. Now for these, I have 2 options. I charge a flat rate for clothes that are going to be over a pound, as long as they're going to fit in at least a padded flat rate envelope. So I charge $8.99. This one, let's see, it's going to be, let's see, cheapest to actually mail in a flat rate envelope. So I'm going to, and I learned this from one of Courtney's videos, Bolo Buddies. She did a shipping video, and I had never been, I didn't even know about these as far as for shipping clothes. I don't use them a lot, but if it's small clothing and it's going to go priority, you might as well. But when you're doing these packages, lay it on a flat table, flat like this, and then roll it, and that helps you get that top layer on, usually better than if I tried to fold it over. See, and print out that, make sure you change it to the right one. There's a big difference between the flat rate envelope like this and the padded flat rate envelope. Make sure you're picking the right one when you print your labels. I did have a multi-quantity order. So this person bought these 3 items. Yeah. This was a Chosun Brown Rabbit. Again, most of these were probably bought at the bins. Chosun Brown Rabbit. And then this little Russ Rabbit. See, both of them are holding carrots. So there's a theme here. And this little brown hedgehog plush. Didn't have a tag, so I didn't know who the manufacturer was. But they paid $21.25 for the 3 of them. I think I quoted this going in first class. Yes. So I pulled them just to confirm, and I'm confident that these will be all fine. They're just regular plush. They don't have tabs in their ears. That's another thing to watch for. A lot of vintage plush, and even some of the ones from like Walmart, have little plastic tabs in their ears that you don't want to be bending. Again, this is one of my old plush with a regular bag. Because I think it's been over a year since I started using these self-seal bags. Well, and the other reason why I don't like shipping in those bags over there, they don't have the suffocation warning on them. So, at least we know Walmart, well, these type bags do. Alright, I'm going to see, nope. These are some of the poly bag sizes I have. I do have a couple that go even larger than this, but I don't use them very often. If it's that big already, I probably will end up putting it in a box. But these are just really just plain plush. It's trying to charge me priority because eBay uses the combined weight, even though I sent out an invoice. I think I showed this recently in a haul. I don't remember how much I paid. I bought 2 different Tupperware sets. One I paid $5 for, and I do not remember what the other one was. But this one sold for $16. Look how cute. It's just a mini mix-it. Robert will have the pop-up for it. But it has like the little rolling pan and the rolling mat and just all kinds of cute vintage Tupperware stuff for kids. I'm thinking this is going to fit in a priority box. This is one of the issues when you're parting out appliances. Almost always the motorized part is the last to sell for the least amount. So this was a KitchenAid blender that we parted out. I'm pretty sure this is the last part that sold, and I ended up taking a best offer of $8 for it. The money in those things are like the glass carafe, the lids, the blades, the gaskets, the sticks, anything that goes with it is where you really make the money. And this thing is heavy, and they paid a bunch of shipping for it. So Robert will get this packed up.
But this one's not fragile. A couple layers of bubble wrap and shove it in the box.
Right. I'm hoping that it's going to fit in this big box. The way you can tell is, see if it's going to fit in the flap, and it is. I'm going to cheat though. I'm going to put it in like this because it's going to fit sideways, and I'm going to hand this over to Robert. And I'm going to have him use that handy dandy little box cutter and cut this down so I don't have to add all the extra packaging in there.
I don't use the box cutter for those.
Oh.
Too complicated. But
okay.
I'll cut it.
I'm still going to have him cut it down. First of all, he doesn't trust me to cut these down. So, we'll go back to that one. But definitely, if you don't have to use the extra feeling dunnage, don't. Let's pick something else. Alright. Let's find you. I pick this brand up quite often. It's plain, it's old, it's called Soft Things, but usually it looks kind of like carnival type prizes from the past. You know, it's just a little gray elephant. It's sold for $12. You know, doesn't weigh very much. Again, probably at the bins is where I know it. Sometimes I get these at estate sales too, but not for much, $1 or less. But it's vintage. It doesn't have a whole lot of stuff going for it, so I'm going to end up just putting it in a poly bag. If it was that stiff, like the nutshells or the sawdust, like I think some of the Dream Pets have this like sawdust like stuff in it, then I would probably put them in a box. Here we go. But make sure when you're shipping stuff, always have it bagged. Double protection. If it gets left in the rain, at least it has something else that's going to protect it. Itties. What I refer to as littles or smalls. This is a Littlest Pet Shop. When I find them in lots, I always pull the cats and dogs and check them. And they're so easy. You can use Google Lens, but if you aren't using Google Lens, you can put in Littlest Pet Shop, dog, pink eyes, star. And more than likely, you're going to find this one. Now, Littlest Pet Shops, I would not put them in a poly bag or even in a bubble. They're bobbleheads. A lot of times, you don't want to get them damaged. This dog, Chihuahua, sold for $18.35. So, this is one of those times I'm going to use a 4x4x4. Alright. I'm just going to bag it. It's not going to open. And stick it in here. And again, make sure your tape's going in the same direction so that it sticks. This is a nylon teddy bear by Deluxe Playthings. It is vintage. I want to say probably the 80s. I didn't put a date on here, so I probably didn't see one. I try to date everything in my listing. It helps me when I'm going to cross-list to Etsy if I know for sure that there's a date on the tag to, you know, prove it's vintage. Now this, first and foremost, it's not Fisher Price, so I do not use the word puff-a-lump. Use the word nylon. Some people use parachute material, something like that. Second of all, it's very faded. I almost didn't list it because you can tell right here's one color of purple, and then up here it has been sun bleached. But I just decided to go ahead and list it, and it sold for $18.35. That's one of those brands to definitely be looking out for, because there's certain other brands that they look like this. There's an elephant that sells for, I'm pretty sure, over $100. that's this type of material. I don't know if it's that brand, but definitely always check anything that has this nylon type material. All right, nothing unique about this, so I'm going to put it in a poly bag. Here's, it's heavy. Here's that blender base motor. And Robert's using bubble wrap and then as fillers because it's not fragile. We don't want to just use the bubbles because, or the, what are they called?
Air pillows. The
air pillows. I can't remember that word. We just use newspaper stuffed in bags as the added protection.
We use the Walmart bags.
We used Walmart bags. It's not moving in here, but it has protection on all sides. How to Train Your Dragon. Never, ever, ever ship action figures or toys like this in a poly or a bubble. You're going to have a very unhappy buyer, because they're going to come damaged. It's just expected, especially if it's a collector. Like this toy, it has fragile wings. Fragile. And the tail is off. It's got like this little shooter tail. But definitely, you have to be careful with these. Gonna box it. Marketplace was decent this weekend. Alright, this is Stormfly from How to Train Your Dragon 2014, and it sold for $18 on Facebook. So Robert's going to go ahead and pack it in a box for me. This is the box Robert cut down for me for the Tupper toys. Adorable. Somebody posted in my Facebook page, group, a picture. Who was it? Lake Threads posted a picture of a whole bunch of plush that she picked up this weekend, but she had her corgis in the background. And I sold a corgi on Facebook Marketplace. It's by Douglas, more than likely picked up at the bins, for $22. When Robert puts this one up there, this is my third Facebook order. But in this Facebook order, they ordered 4 things. She contacted me ahead of time, asked how much I would take for the 4, so we negotiated back and forth. But all I do when somebody wants, Facebook doesn't automatically combine orders for you. So what I do is, it's a lot of work, but I have to end them on eBay because everything starts on eBay, and I cross list. Then I go into Facebook and I mark sold the 3 extra ones. And then the one that I'm going to change to include all of them, all I do is pull the 4 orders and take a picture. So the picture's ugly because everything is still in their bag. She bought a Kids of America pink dog, a Disney 101 Dalmatian Lucky Dog, a Disney Moana Pua Pig, and an Arts Toys RCA Nipper dog, and she paid $24 plus the shipping for the 4 toys. So when you see the picture, you're just going to see 4 plush in their bags. You know, I was confident that based on our communication that she was going to buy this. So I wasn't going to open up everything just to repack it because a lot of them are in their sealed bags. And on this order, I let her know ahead of time that the shipping would be cheapest if I left all of these in a poly bag. Instead of trying to, if I put them in a priority box, it was going to put it up to the next shipping level. And she was confident that, you know, this was going to be okay for shipping. So none of them had anything that I would be concerned shipping in a poly. And this saved her probably about $4 or $5 in their shipping. And Facebook's, if you can get sales on there, they only charge 5% fees. And then they just send you the shipping label. Little People. Robert picked me up a bunch of totes full of Little People and other stuff at a yard sale. How much did you pay for all of it that time? Like $10 for everything?
Yeah, it was like $10 for the tote.
Yeah, for the totes. This was in there. This is from the ABC Zoo. It is the Rock Zoo fence lot. It did have some of the red fencing also that I included. It made my listing stand out because I had some of the extra stuff in there. Instead of splitting it all up, I ended up selling this part for $14.30. And then I'm going to have Robert pack it for me. It's going to go priority because of the weight. And it's just one of those things. These could definitely get damaged if you tried to cram them in like a poly bag or anything. Probably broken off. If you're going to sell on platforms like Mercari and Facebook, make sure you have your weights accurate because you can't change it on there. Once it's done, it's done. And you either run the risk of shipping it with not enough postage and you having an unhappy buyer if they decide to charge them. I don't know if they do that very much anymore. Or you get upcharged back to you through the postal service or through Mercari. Just make sure you have the correct weight. With Etsy and eBay, you can, and Bonanza, you can change the weight if you're wrong. You're not going to be able to see this, but I bought 2 pins, cross pins, at an estate sale on a half-price day. I'm pretty sure I paid $7.50 each. I sold the first one pretty quickly. I want to say probably $30, $40. And then this is the second one. This one sold for $20. It was a 330T model, silver, with the box, and the pamphlet was on the inside. Again, I'm not going to mail this in a poly bag. For all we know, that the box may be important to the seller, to the buyer, and it's going to California. Let me show you a trick. Here's my 6x4x4. It can be skinnier and it can be longer. So this is what you do. You take your flaps and you cut them about halfway, all the way to the seam. And do this on all sides. It doesn't have to be exact. And then what I normally do is just kind of do a rough seam down this center, just so that it will fold neatly. And then I squeeze it. Right? So now I have a box that's like this. So what I'm going to do is wrap this in a piece of bubble. I've done that with priority boxes when I need it to be just a little bit wider. I learned when I got out of the military, I worked for the Navy Exchange in Hawaii. And part of one of the shops that I worked for was the gift wrap. So we learned how to use the boxes that we had to fit things. See, it just kind of, it still folds. You just got to make sure it's sitting in the right direction. Just showing you some of the variety of plush that are selling. This is Walmart brand. It's a 14-inch lying, L-Y-I-N-G, right off the tag it says that. Cow. So for $7.75 offer. Probably from the bins. Very light. Alright, pair of jeans. These are just my size. Women's jeans. Sold for $15. My ideal setup would be, instead of having this shelf right here, I have one of those big old like craftsman tool bench thingies that I could put all of my poly bags in, and my bubbles and boxes. I've seen a few people using them. I think that would be very, very neat. Alright, I'm going to be shipping these flat rate bubble. This is a Walmart brand. Love it. Yellow Duck Plush. It sold for $9, best offer. It is all soft, even the eyes, so it can go in a poly bag. Right, this is Kelly Toy. You see there's a number 2 written on here. I probably had 2 different ones that had different conditions, so I always try to number them so that it doesn't look like a duplicate listing when eBay does their thing. Because it has this clip, I'm going to go ahead and put it in a box. I don't want that clip getting damaged or broken. I have all my work that I'm getting ready to do later today starting to pile up at my feet. This is a vintage Cabbage Patch Kid bunny. It's got the little rabbit ears from 1993. It sold for $8. Because of its face, I'm not going to put this in a bubble or a poly. It's going to go in a box. This is a Walmart black and white dog with the candy in his hand and a striped hat. You can't tell, but the bill of his hat has something in it that's making it stiff. So it could get damaged in shipping. So it's going to go in a box. He sold for $9.50. He's in there snugly, so he's going to get the sticker too, to not cut it open with a knife. And usually on this small box like this, I'm going to put it on the top, and then I'll just put the label around this way. This is Teletubbies. It's from Spin Master. He does have a hard, flocked face. Flocked meaning it's kind of fuzzy. So again, because he's hard face, I don't want it damaged in any way. So it also is going to go in a small box. I'm down to like just a couple left, but I wanted to talk to you. I have one order that's 2 that they've paid separately. So what you do is, I don't have this set up to do screen shares, but what you have to do is you have to, on your print shipping label screen, click on the blocks right next to just the 2, and you're going to go into bulk shipping. And then at the top of that page, you're going to see an orange circle. Mine has a 2 in there because there's 2 items. Click on that combined orders per buyer. And that way it's going to combine it for you. And then when you print the label, it's going to share that tracking number. If you printed them separately but packed them in their same box, you would have to go in manually and put in the second tracking number. But this way, it does that for you. Because they didn't wait for me to do a combined invoice for them, I always give them a refund on the shipping, because for these 2 items, well, they paid $12.50. But based on the size of these 2 plush, they're more than likely going to go into a priority box. So there may not be much, but I always do take into consideration when people pay multiple shipping amounts, that I try to refund some of it back to them. But you need to keep into consideration, you have paid fees on that shipping, and so don't, I wouldn't refund all of it extra back, because you are paying fees on the shipping. And that's why I do have a little bit of a cushion in my flat rate shippings to help pay for the fees and all the packaging that I buy. So I think I'm going to call it here. I have a few more that I haven't shown you, but there's nothing different than I've not already shared with you. I'm hoping that you're going to enjoy this. We're going to try this, do this only on the weekend packages. But I'll still do my regular what sold for Monday through Thursday the way I've always done it. That way, these can tend to be longer, and not everybody wants to watch shipping videos, but I've had enough requests that I think that this is important. At least do it for a while, and that way in the future, if I go back to the other way, I can at least refer people back to the shipping videos that I've done. All right, I think I'll go ahead and close this out. Let's all get to work, right? All right, bye.